All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, this is Slim Hotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. So it is Thursday, December 1st, 2022. And I wanted to come on for a few minutes here and let you all know about a very special weekend promotion we have on a new 15 lecture digital download bundle pack of 15 of my lectures. We have the information posted on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. And this is the African History Awakens the African Mind from Mental Death 15 lecture bundle pack. Okay. So we have the information at our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. So when you scroll down the homepage, you'll see the information for our radio show, and you scroll down and you'll see this bundle pack. Okay, so this promotion is going on until Sunday, December 4th, 2022. This is a $150 value on sale for only $50. It's $150 value, only $50 for very, very limited time only. It includes 15 of my lectures. And when you click right here, it takes you to the next page and it shows the lectures in the bundle pack. So this is all download bundle pack, so you can start watching immediately. Okay, you don't have to worry, you don't have to wait on me to DVD lectures to you. And here are the lectures included in the bundle. All right, you get 3 of my presentations dealing with the film Black Panther. Okay, you get Black Panther analysis, African culture, history, and Afrofuturism. This is a almost 3-hour presentation that I did in 2018, shortly after the film came out. You get Breaking the Chains, why we celebrate Black History Month, Breaking the Chains, why we celebrate Black History Month. And this deals with the origins of African American History Month, Black History Month. It deals with some history from Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who created Negro History Week, the second week in February, okay, Negro History Week. And it's a lot of history in that presentation. You get Malcolm X 50 years later, why is he still relevant? And this is a really good presentation that I did on Malcolm X. And it deals with a lot of Malcolm's history, but also deals with Malcolm's influence on conscious hip hop. You get the distortion of the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The revolutionary will not be televised on the television. Okay. And this presentation deals with how Dr. King's legacy is distorted, and we deal with the revolution King, the Dr. King that you don't hear about or see about usually during Dr. King Day. Okay, so the distortion of the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the revolutionary, will not be televised on the television. You also get in this 15 lecture bundle pack lessons from the film Black Panther, economic guerrilla warfare, political self-defense, and how to Wakanda to vote. And this presentation deals with how do we take the enthusiasm from the film Black Panther and use that for economic empowerment and political empowerment. So we see African people in the fictitious African nation of Wakanda. We see them managing their natural resources. We see that this is the most technologically advanced nation on the face of the earth. Okay, so how do we take that enthusiasm from the film Black Panther and use that for economic empowerment and political empowerment? So that presentation is lessons from the film Black Panther, economic guerrilla warfare, political self-defense, and how to Wakanda to vote. Okay, you also get 6 principles of political self-defense, how it just deals with the laws and policies impact the economic conditions of African Americans. 6 principles of political self-defense. This deals with how laws and policies impact the economic conditions of African Americans. And it deals with understanding politics. Politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. Okay, so it deals with how all of this comes together, this presentation. And actually two lectures on there. One I did in July 2019 at the Black Home. And there was another one that I did in it was on an African American owned farm. Okay, so so you get that presentation as well. Now, so get the 13 forms of wealth to entrepreneurship and economic empowerment. And this presentation deals with entrepreneurship, and it deals with 13 different types of wealth, and it deals with key traits that successful African American entrepreneurs need to have. Okay, key traits that successful African American entrepreneurs need to have. And I taught entrepreneurship for 7 years, so we deal with that, a lot of that information in this presentation also. Okay, all right. Now you'll also get the presentation. The next one is Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice and the History of Christmas. Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice and the History of Christmas. So we deal with the pre-Christian origins of Christmas. Okay, and this covers a lot of history. We look at some of the different pre-Christian winter solstice celebrations. Okay, Festival of Saturnalia, Festival of Mithra, things like this. We look at some Roman festivals, and we look at this pre-Christian history that leads to the religious celebration that we know of as Christmas coming into existence. Okay, so that's a 3-hour presentation, and also we also deal with ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt in there as well. Okay, so that's a excellent presentation. Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice, and the History of Christmas. All right, now another presentation that you get is it's a double lecture that I did with Dr. David Imhotep, who wrote the book, The First Americans Where Africans Documented Evidence. So this is The First Americans Where Africans Documented Evidence. It's a double lecture we did here in the Detroit area. And he's dealing with research and information from his book, The First Americans Where Africans Documented Evidence. And I deal with great African women in history, the mothers of civilization. Great African women in history, the mothers of civilization. Okay, so that's a double lecture that you get that includes both of us. All right, now the next presentation in this 15 lecture bundle, Redistributing the Pain, how African Americans fought back with economic boycotts. Redistributing the Pain, how African Americans fought back with economic boycotts. So this is a 4-hour presentation, and it deals with how we look at documented examples of African Americans using various types of economic withdrawal strategies. Okay, various examples of African Americans using different types of economic withdrawal strategies, or what some people may call economic boycotts. And this is designed to fight against white supremacy. All right, so we look at everything from the Montgomery bus boycott to we look at the 1981 Coca-Cola economic boycott that Reverend Jesse Jackson led. That was a very, very successful economic boycott. We'll look at things like we'll look at that one. We'll look at economic boycotts like the one in 1957 that led to the lawsuit of Gomillion versus Lightfoot in Tuskegee, Alabama. Okay, so this is redistributing the pain. Now, redistributing the pain is a phrase that came from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he used that April 3rd, 1968, in his last speech, Where Do We Go From Here? I'm sorry, his last speech, I've Been to the Mountaintop. Okay, I'm thinking of his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? All right, so, and he said we have to find a way to redistribute the pain. And he talked about economic boycotts in Memphis, Tennessee, against Wonder Bread, Heart's Bread, Coca-Cola, and Sealed Test Milk for their discriminatory hiring practices. All right, so redistributing the pain, how African Americans fought back with economic boycotts. That's about a 4-hour presentation. Next, you get The Light of Ancient Egypt Awakens the African Mind to Economic Empowerment. The Light of Ancient Egypt Awakens the African Mind to Economic Empowerment. And with this presentation here, we deal with connection between African history, ancient Kemet, things like this, and economic empowerment as well. The next presentation, you get Ancient Africans in America Before Native Americans, Columbus, or Slavery. Ancient Africans in America Before Native Americans, Columbus, or Slavery. So this deals with the African presence in the Americas going back tens of thousands of years ago. We deal with the African presence here in the land that we call the United States of America. Even before the people who we call Native Americans even came into existence. Dr. David Imhotep deals with this in his book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. But we look at the African presence in the Americas, North America, Central America, etc. Long before European settlers came to this landmass that we call the United States of America, or what was called Turtle Island. So we look at all this in this presentation, and we look at some recent archaeological discoveries as well that keep causing the scientists and the paleontologists and the archaeologists, etc., to push the timelines back. So the deeper they dig, the blacker the planet gets, the more research they do, the older we get. Okay, so that's in this presentation, Ancient Africans in America Before Columbus or Slavery. Then you also get this 4-hour presentation, Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization. Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization. So I deal with some well-known and not so well-known African women in our history from all different time periods, okay? We deal with everybody from, and this is a 4-hour presentation. So we deal with everybody from Ma'at and Auset and Queen T and Zinga and Amos Nefertari. We deal with people like Fannie Lou Hamer, or we deal with Ida B. Wells and Madam C.J. Walker and Madam C.J. Walker's mentor, Annie Turnbull Malone, etc. So it's a fantastic presentation. Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization. You'll get another presentation I did dealing with the film Black Panther. This one I did for children, a Black Panther analysis for children, African culture and history, a Black Panther analysis for children, African culture and history. And in this presentation, I was speaking to about 60 5th through 12th graders, okay, and their teachers. We did this at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History here in Detroit. And I'm doing a visual presentation, and most of these are, visual presentations I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, video clips, things like this. And I'm explaining to the children as well as the teachers how African history and African culture is connected to the film Black Panther. So we go through and look at different themes in the film, and I'm showing them how they can use the film to teach history to our children and introduce different concepts to our children. So this is a Black Panther analysis for children, African culture and history. And then the last presentation you'll get is African American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. So this deals with understanding history and politics and law and how they all intersect. Okay. And one of the themes in this presentation that I deal with is how Donald Trump was similar to Richard Nixon. 1968, Richard Nixon ran for president on the platform of law and order. And Richard Nixon was a backlash to the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement and the rebellions that were taking place across this country. The uprisings like in Detroit, 1967 rebellion, in Newark, New Jersey, different things like this. Richard Nixon was a backlash to all of that, and he ran on the platform of law and order, which basically means protect white people and lock up African Americans. Well, Donald Trump in 2016 ran on the platform of law and order as well. And Donald Trump was a backlash to 2 terms of President Barack Obama. He's a backlash to the Black Lives Matter movement. He was a backlash to any perceived gains that African Americans had made. Okay, and then we deal with the voter suppression that took place during the 2016 presidential election, which is also tied to the 2013 U.S. Supreme Court case of Shelby County versus Holder, okay, which gutted Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act in 1965, and what it did was it struck down the pre-clearance in Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act, which basically stated that if states and counties that had a history of discriminating against African Americans when it came to voting and putting obstacles in the way of the 15th Amendment, those states and counties, things like this, that had poll taxes and literacy tests, etc., if they wanted to change the location of any voter polls, if they wanted to reduce the amount of time you have for early voting or souls to the poll voting, anything like this, they had to get permission from a federal judge. That's the pre-clearance, okay? And that was part of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Well, when Shelby County versus Holder, U.S. Supreme Court case 2013, when that struck down Section 4, within 24 hours, when you research this, within 24 hours, certain states that had Republican-controlled state legislatures and a Republican governor, they started passing new voter suppression laws, new voter ID laws, things like this within 24 hours of that U.S. Supreme Court decision taking place. So as a consequence of that, in the 2016 presidential election, there were 868 fewer polling places. There were 868 fewer polling places in the 2016 presidential election. And the majority of those polling places that were shut down were in areas that had a high African American or Latino population. Now, in the 2020 presidential election, there were about 1,700 fewer polling places. Okay, there were about 1,700 fewer polling places in the 2020 presidential election as a result of Shelby County versus Holder. All right, and this contributed to a lot of the long lines that we saw in the in different places like in Georgia, especially like Atlanta, the places that have a high population. Okay, this article here from motherjones.com deals with this. This is from September 10th, 2019, which was the year before the 2020 presidential election. But this article right here, more than 1,600 polling places have closed since the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. This is from September 10th, 2019 from motherjones.com. More than 1,600 polling places have closed since the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. This is by Matt Coyne. And it says most of them are in minority communities. Okay, this is as a result of Shelby County versus Holder, which was a 5-4 decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. In 2013, the Supreme Court gutted uh, a core provision of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, the requirement for certain states with a history of discrimination to pre-clear changes in their election rules with the federal government. For decades, the 1965 law helped to secure the right to vote for hundreds of thousands of people in 9 states, as well as certain jurisdictions in 6 other states, which had such a history of discrimination against minority voters. But in the 5-4 decision in Shelby County versus Holder, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the coverage formula for determining those jurisdictions subject to preclearance was outdated and therefore unconstitutional. The consequences of the Shelby County decision were immediate. States that had previously fallen under the jurisdiction of the Voting Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, immediately passed tougher voter restriction laws and restructured election systems. But a new report released today, September in 2019, by the Civil Rights Coalition, the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, adds another dimension to the picture of how this 2013 ruling has undermined voter access by analyzing the number of polling places that have been closed since the ruling. According to the report entitled Democracy Diverted, Polling Place Closures and the Right to Vote, 1,688 polling places are now closed or shuttered in those areas. The report, which is a follow-up to a 2016 analysis, looked at 757 counties and found that 298 of them, or 39%, reduced their number of polling places between 2012 and 2018. Now, 2012 is a crucial year because 2012 was the presidential election where President Obama won, and he was reelected to a second term. Okay, the 2012 presidential election. Now, in the online classes that I teach, the second class, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. Okay, in that class, we deal with the voter suppression laws and rewriting of the state constitutions. Right now, there is a good article from let me see, is it in this article here from history.com that deals with that deals with the this is the one that I want here. Well, this is a good one also. How Jim Crow era laws suppressed the African American vote for generations. How Jim Crow era laws suppressed the African American vote for generations. Okay. In the wake of the passage of the 15th Amendment and Reconstruction, several Southern states enacted laws that restricted Black Americans' access to voting. All right, now, so they talk about literacy tests and the history of that. They deal with poll taxes, which was a tax that you had to pay to register to vote. Okay, poll taxes. And these were ways to get around the 15th Amendment of 1870, which guaranteed the right to vote for African American men. They talk about all white primaries, like in Texas, the all white primaries. And then the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Okay. it says signed into law 95 years after the 15th Amendment was ratified into the U.S. Constitution. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 outlawed most discriminatory voting practices in southern states, such as literacy tests, poll taxes, grandfather clauses that had been designed by southern state legislatures to suppress the African American vote. Almost as swift as the resistance to Black voter participation had been nearly a century earlier, so had the response to this landmark legislation. Within a year, only 4 of the 13 southern states had fewer than 50% of African American registered voters. Okay, within a year, only 4 of the 13 southern states had less than 50% of African American registered voters. Then they talk about Shelby County versus Holder, U.S. Supreme Court case. In 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court walked back part of the Voting Rights Act when it ruled in a 5-4 vote that constraints placed on certain states and federal review of states voting procedures were outdated. Okay. Now, what happened was in 2012, okay, when President Barack Obama ran for a second term in 2012, the African American turnout was 66.6%. 66.6% of African Americans registered to vote actually voted. Okay, this was a record. It was a record percentage turnout, number one. Number two, this was the first time that the percentage of African Americans registered to vote who actually voted, this was the first time that that percentage was greater than the number of white people who were registered to vote, okay, who actually voted. So this scared a lot of white Republicans to death. So then they come back and attack us in the courts in 2013 with Shelby County versus Holder. All right. And so you had a lot of us who did not see that coming, don't understand politics, don't understand history, don't understand how all this is connected. So didn't see that backlash to President Barack Obama winning in 2012, how that was going to come back and attack us in 2013. There's an article from history.com channel that vote, okay, and that was Americans actually get the right to vote. That was actually okay. This one right here, because this talks about in 2012. Let me refresh the screen just a second. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay, we're back. Screen was freezing up on us. Okay, so the article I was actually looking for was this one here from history.com. Article, when did African Americans actually get the right to vote? When did African Americans actually get to vote? The 15th Amendment was supposed to guarantee Black men the right to vote, but exercising that right became another challenge. All right. And once again, for those who are just joining us, I am talking about this new digital download bundle pack of 15 of my lectures that are available right now at our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. And it's our website in this bundle pack is African History Awakens the African Mind from Mental Death. African History Awakens the African Mind from Mental Death. We have a special promotion going on this weekend from Thursday, December 1st through Sunday, December 4th, 2022. You'll get this digital download bundle pack of 15 of my lectures on sale for only $50. This is a $150 value. Okay, so it's right on the homepage of our website. You can do debit card, credit card. You can do PayPal. You can do Google Pay. I think it'll also accept Venmo as well. So we're going through and I'm explaining these 15 lectures. These are all some of my presentations. They're all in the digital download format. So this last presentation is African-American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. So this connects law, history, and politics together, this presentation, okay? We'll post a link here. It's at our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. Also, I'm going to post a link here. So you can order this download bundle right now. You can download the lectures. The link expires after about 96 hours or so. So you can download the lectures and you can keep it yourself. You can watch the lectures streaming from the link when you purchase it, but you can also download the lectures as well. Okay, so we'll post the link here again for this new digital download bundle that includes 15 of my lectures. Makes a great gift as well, whether it's a Kwanzaa gift or Christmas gift or what have you. Okay, so this other article, this is what I was looking for. When did African Americans actually get the right to vote? This is from history.com, April 18th, 2021. The 15th Amendment was supposed to guarantee Black men the right to vote, but exercising that right became another challenge. So it goes through and talks about history, Civil War history, Reconstruction, things like that. Then it looks at the 14th to 15th Amendments, Reconstruction to Civil Rights era. It talks about that. Then it deals with Bloody State, the Voting Rights Act, continued challenges to Black rights. Then we look at, and it talks about 2012 turnout of Black voters exceeded that of white voters for the first time in history. So this is what I was talking about. This leads to Shelby County versus Holder. In 2012, turnout of African-American voters exceeded that of white voters for the first time in history, as 66.6% of eligible African-American voters turned out to help re-elect President Barack Obama. Okay. Now, in 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a key provision of the Voting Rights Act, ruling in a 5-4 decision in Shelby County versus Holder. And Shelby County, by the way, is in Alabama, which is where Bloody Sunday took place. Okay, Bloody Sunday, that was Selma, Alabama, so the Selma to Montgomery March. All right. Now, that it was unconstitutional to require states with a history of voter discrimination to seek federal approval before changing their election laws. Now, in the wake of the court's decision, a number of states passed new restrictions on voting, including limiting early voting and requiring voters to show photo ID. Supporters argue such measures are designed to prevent voter fraud, while critics say they, like poll taxes and literacy tests before them, disproportionately affect poor, elderly, Black, and Latino voters. All right. So you can read this full article here. This is one of the ones we use in my online class on the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement Power, 1865 to 1968. When did African Americans actually get the right to vote? Okay, this is from history.com. So check that one out as well. So that ties directly into this last presentation, because we look at the voters. We not only look at similarities between Donald Trump and Richard Nixon, okay, but we also look at the voter suppression laws that were put in place that played a part in the 2016 presidential election. And we look at how Donald Trump reversed a lot of policies that President Obama put in place that were helpful to African Americans, and Trump reversed those policies or greatly weakened them as well. Okay, so this is the new 15 lecture bundle pack of 15 of my lectures. It's all in digital download format, so you don't have to worry about shipping. You don't have to worry about waiting on DVDs to arrive in the mail, anything like that. You can start watching immediately. Okay. So this is normally a $150 bundle pack. It's on sale for a very limited time only for only $50. Okay, so we have it right here on the homepage of our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, and we also have the online history classes as well. Okay, so you can order this. It makes a great gift. Also, African History Awakens the African Mind from Mental Death, 15 lecture download bundle. We have the same bundle in DVD format. If you want to, at our website in the shop at our website, if you want to order in DVD format, you can. But a lot of people have been asking for digital download. So so everybody's been asking for digital download. Here's your opportunity to support the African History Network. Now, I also have a brand new lecture that I just did November 19th. This is in digital download format. It's on sale $10. This deals with the new Black Panther film, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, analysis, African and Mesoamerican culture, a shared history. Okay, so I did that Saturday, November 19th, 2022. That's in digital download format. Information on our online history classes. I teach one on Wednesdays from the I teach one normally on Wednesdays. We're going to have our next session this Saturday because my work schedule has changed, so I couldn't do it this week. But ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And we do thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Okay. So this is on sale $60, regularly $130. The next class is going to be Saturday, December 3rd, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded, so you can go back and watch it anytime. Even a year from now, 2 years from now, you can go back and watch the entire class. So you can watch it you can join us in class live or watch the class on demand. Okay, you can use debit card, credit card. If you want to use Cash App, email us through the website. Just click on Contact the African History Network and just click here to register for the class. And then on Tuesdays, I teach from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So our next class is coming up Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Same format of the class. This is on sale $60 also. All right, so we start in the year 1800. We look at the 1800 census. We look at the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, and we look at the Haitian Revolution because those two events are related. And we go through and look at history chronologically to see what leads up to the Civil War taking place. We look at the Reconstruction era, 1865, 1877, Jim Crow era, Great Migration, 1915, 1970, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement. Okay, to understand the laws and policies in place, especially after slavery ends, that put us in the position that we are today to understand where we need to go from here. And once again, we have to understand that politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. Politics impacts every aspect of our lives, from the water we drink to the air we breathe, to the food we eat, and how to leverage our economics to enforce our political agenda. And this is why it's important to understand law, politics, economics, and history. Law, politics, economic empowerment, and history, because they all come together. All right. So you can order this bundle pack right now. The sale is going on until Sunday, December 4th, 2022. This 15 lecture bundle pack in digital download format is on sale for $3. All right. It's a fantastic gift also. And if you want to support the African History Network, another way you can do so through PayPal or Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, the AHN show through Cap, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, pay the bills, etc. So this really helps out right now, because we're dealing with some real financial challenges. So we definitely need your support. All right. So, and here's our QR code for Cash App as well when you click on the link. Now, this is our official Cash App account, the AHN show, SHOW, $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael, and then it'll usually show my picture there. These other ones here are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. So I'm still trying to get these fake accounts set up. Cash App is extremely slow in trying to shut down these fake accounts. These fake accounts, I've identified 5 of them. They've been stealing money from us. Okay, so pretending to be the African History Network, and they're not. So I'm trying to get them shut down. So that's why I put the link on the homepage of our website. You can click on our actual link. So when you support us, it goes to the right place. All right. So look, hey, we have to get out of here. Listen to the radio show Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the African History Network show. We have the information around the homepage of the website. Watch me on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Fridays, normally 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or so Eastern Standard Time. Roland Martin Unfiltered. We'll post that on our fan page, the African History Network. When we do it, I'll post it on my social media platforms. On Friday, December 2nd, I got the email from Roland's booker, the person who books his guests. His show is going to be 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, December 2nd. Okay, and you can watch on Roland S. Martin on Facebook or YouTube. Also download the Black Star Media app as well. Okay. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's correct wrong behaviors, not over till we win, Wakanda forever. You can take advantage of this special promotion on the digital download bundle pack. Take advantage of that. Share that information with your friends and family, especially our children. And it makes a great gift as well. Remember, right now, it's correct wrong behaviors, not over till we win, Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time.